Hello everybody, welcome to another video. My name is Midway and we're looking at NALTHOR the Rhinebinder on a plus 27 necrotic wake on tyrannical difficulty. Before we go any further though, please drop a like, subscribe and check out my Twitch if you want to watch any high keys live as well as any mythic rating done on a holy paladin. So this boss was nerfed a couple weeks ago, almost like a month and something ago or something like that, and they basically reduced the amount of damage you need to do to the shields, and therefore this boss now is a little bit easier. We're still going to be saving as many weapons as we can for it though, because those shields are just pretty dangerous as well as extend the fight unnecessarily, and we just want to get the least of them as possible. So there's also going to be of course the shenanigans happening with the pre-freedoms. If you pre-freedom something before they get the frozen binds, they will not get the damage from it and they will just not be applied to them. So that's a way of keeping people in melee. It's very good if you can pre-freedom people so they do not have to move out of melee and they can just keep on doing damage safely. Of course, you're gonna need something to track when that cast is going to happen, otherwise you just might miss it if you're just waiting for the cast bar to happen on top of the boss's frame. So yeah, it's a good idea to just have some sort of boss timer, or even some like targeted spells recorder that I have that shows who the target is on the frame, so that way I just can look for when the spell is happening and then look at what frame it's going on to, and that way I can just basically target them immediately. Also, it's a good idea to use target of target, that way you can also do that as well. But you can do it however way you want. It's just important to use that tool because as Holy Paladins is one of the things that make us strong in this boss. Now for the shields, we are going to have a bunch of hammers and we're just going to be using them usually in the late stages of the fight. Whenever things are dragging on a little bit too much, people are out of cooldowns, there might be some sort of misplace and people are just taking too long to come back up. So in those cases, that's when we want to be having those hammers ready to get rid of those shields for free. There's also the play that you can do, or your DPSers can do rather, that is basically using gateways or any other sort of movement speed ability that can help them skip getting dragged down. And that way they can get killed by the debuff instead of going down to the platforms, and then they can just get rest and stay DPSing on top of these platforms. Now here, I didn't have freedom ready, so I just had to take the L and dispel myself while the other DPSers are moving out. One thing you can do to prevent that happening is of course just being very quick, so you always have it line up perfectly. If you're a bit slow over time, sometimes your freedom will just not be ready whenever the frozen binds comes around. Another thing you can do is also use a normal dispel, which will cost less mana, and if it's going onto a ranged player like right there the warlock, they're never going to be next to anybody, so you know you can just dispel them for free as soon as they get the binds. You don't have to think too much about it, and that way you can make sure your freedom is going to be ready for the next time. Now as I said, dispel costs a little bit less mana than a freedom, however mana is never really going to be an issue in these bosses. We just don't use that much mana, especially in the Mythic Plus scenario like this, so that's not a big problem, but in any case it is, just think about it that way. But otherwise the boss is pretty simple. If you can stack onto melee, it's gonna go a long way for you to keep on meleeing the boss while the rain of, or the meteors rather, is falling from the sky, the Comet storm. If you manage to do that properly, then you can safely move around the boss and all of you can still DPS it. That's gonna go a long way as well to make this boss quicker, shorter, safer, etc, etc. If you have a lot of melee and they are all just running around like crazy, that might be a bit iffy, because some people might just run a bit too quickly behind you, or rather ahead of you, and then you just catching up and you get hit by meteors and stuff. So depending on your party, you gotta talk it beforehand, arrange something so you are able to know where you're gonna go, at what point, and that way you can do this exactly. Just keep on moving around the boss and still DPS it without having to move out of melee range. But if you have to, it's fine. Just if you just want to play it safe and that's what you want to do, that's completely fine. Devo in this case should of course be used whenever the shields are gonna be extending for too long. If you know somebody, or people just said I don't have anything and nobody has anything, then you know it's gonna go for a long time, so that's when you want to be using Devo. Otherwise the shields shouldn't last for more than 1 or 2 ticks, so long as you have something, unless it's really high key that might go for a little bit more, but in any case that's when you want to be using your Devo. You don't really need it at any other point besides when things go south. Your personals and such should also be used in the same manner. That's all I really gotta say for this boss, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, hope you find the video useful. Please drop a like and subscribe if you haven't done so, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.